All right, guys, welcome to the Seeds Storyteller Series. My name is Sarah Davison-Tracy. I am here with some people you are about to fall in love with as you hear their stories. Founders of Shining Light International, husband and wife dynamic duo, Robin and Mike. And we are here to talk about the vision, the mission, the passion that they have to care for our sisters and brothers in Pakistan. And I hope and I invite you, as you listen to this very tiny glimpse of their very big work, that you lean in and look for the threads that are meant for you, the seeds that are meant to be planted in your life that will come as you hear their stories, because we really do find our own stories when we lean in and listen to the stories of each other. So fair warning, we hope this really inspires you. We hope it might fuel some new ways to care for people in the world, and to join us in our mission and our vision to care for our friends, our sisters, our brothers in Pakistan. So Robin, Mike, thank you for joining.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to be here.
Yeah. And so I would love to just start by asking you guys to share with us how on earth you have come to do this work in Pakistan. What were the steps that have led you since 2002 when you first moved to Pakistan? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward several decades later to be continuing this work, and we'll talk about all of it, but I want to talk about the beginning. What led you to move to Pakistan and start this work?
Wow.
I know, in minutes.
So in the beginning,
Right, in the beginning.
So we're followers of Jesus, and so ultimately it's our faith that that led us to Pakistan, and that journey started well before we moved there in 2002. It started, earlier than that, back in the 90s, and so we went to a trip. We went on a trip to Pakistan in 1998 with our two boys, our two sons. At the time, they were like 15 and 13, and we went there, and we began to understand the incredible needs. So our desire is to proclaim and demonstrate the love of Jesus by interacting with people and sharing with them. And so that's what compelled us to go in the beginning. Then when we went in 98, we discovered the needs. And the big discovery we had was that that the people were incredible. They're God's greatest treasure on earth is the people of Pakistan. And so our hearts were knit in the very beginning. And so then it became really, well, okay, Lord, how do we do this? How do we serve these people? How do we make your love known to them? And what we call in our family, we call this the great adventure, and which is continuing today.
And it seemed like the biggest need that the people talked of was education.
Yes.
And I have a background in education. Mike's a project manager, but really we had no idea what education in Pakistan looked like or what we would even be doing. But we just felt like compelled to go there. And as a family then in 2002, we moved there. We had tried to move there. Sorry?
Why Pakistan?
I don't know. We went on a trip to Nepal and Pakistan. And it seemed like when we got to northern Pakistan, it just, I don't know, there was something in us that said, I think we could live here. Our boys are rock climbers and love the mountains, and there are mountains in Nepal as well, of course. But something in Pakistan seemed to really, I don't know, it just spoke to us.
Yeah.
And and it took a while to get there, but then in 2002 we did move, and in 2003 in the spring we moved up to the north. and started working almost immediately with the pastor of the only church in northern Pakistan, whose heart was to raise up the very small minority oppressed Christian community. And our hearts were also to work among the oppressed and marginalized people. And so he's very passionate. And so we joined with him. He had, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but he had been able to get maybe a dozen Christian students into school. They're very poor, illiterate. They don't educate their kids, but he had convinced some of these Christians to enroll their kids in school. He got scholarships for them. And then he needed help with their homework. In Pakistan, they have lots of homework, and the parents, they're illiterate, so they're not able to help them. And so at that time, the pastor was having the kids come to his home. He was single then, he's married now, but and he was helping them. And then when we came along, he asked us if we would come and help. Well, it was a perfect fit for our sons and us to just go in and help whenever we could. And we also started teaching English, adult English classes in the evening. English is a huge desire. We were there on a business visa, so that was our business. And it is a great way to build relationships with the community. They want English, and so especially for native English speakers, and we were the only ones at that time teaching English, and so classes were full. We were busy, and we also taught English in the after school program with the kids, and it was a great, it was fun. It was exciting because we teach in a different way than they do in Pakistan, which is mostly memorization and a lecture up in front, and ours is much more interactive, with games and laughter and fun, so people are attracted to that and they want to come. So yeah, it was easy to start, even though when we went, we had no idea what we were going to do. And I just want to say we were just ordinary people. We weren't.
We're still ordinary people.
Still ordinary people.
I think that's so important. I was actually just gonna say, for all of us, listening from different parts of the world, just being reminded that the stuff that is part of our calling and our purpose, it does grow out of the soil of our ordinary people's lives. You as parents, bringing your kids there, your project management, I know ties into the work and how you do the work now, your history with teaching and education, and just looking for the ways that the tools we have, the passions we have, the gifts we have can be used to make a difference and really love and care for people.
That's right. I think sometimes we make it complicated by trying to come up with this huge plan, and I think just saying yes and going, and then doors open and things that you never thought about before.
Well, and the other thing we realized too, you're right, God gives us all these gifts in order to love others well, and you start to ask the question, well, why not? What is preventing us from moving here? What is preventing us from doing this thing, even though we didn't even know what the thing was at the time? But just ministering to people, what is preventing us from doing that? And honestly, we couldn't come up with a good reason. And so that
and maybe I make a joke sometimes that maybe it was midlife crisis. We were in early 40s, and maybe we're what's the meaning of life kind of thing, and so
but even that to pay attention to the things that are drawing us in as we hit different chapters of our life and places of transition, and those can be used to propel us into our next chapter of life, which I love. And the other thing I want to underscore that I love about your story, our Seeds of Exchange community is composed of people from all walks of life, from many faith traditions, and I know you guys cannot tell your story without sharing the very fuel of your story is your faith as Christians, Jesus, And so for people listening, whether you share that faith in Jesus or you
Mhm.
have another faith, I am deeply inspired by the very practical, the very specific ways that I know your faith has been the fuel for a very, for the founding of this project,
Mhm.
for where you moved your family, for where you lived, so for all of us, that's my nudge for myself and for those listening is, whatever your spiritual tradition, to really trust that there is, I mean, for me, I would agree that is the primary fuel for my life.
Mhm.
Especially when things get hard,
Yeah.
is
Yeah, of
my
course.
faith. And when I
Yeah.
have decisions to make, which I know you guys,
Yeah.
before we hit record on this, I know you
Yeah.
have lots of decisions to make, lots of possibilities to discern
Uh-huh.
what to do. And I think it's so beautiful and important for all of us to see the ways that your faith is the bridge for all of it.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about life in Pakistan for women, because I know for those of us that don't know about what's happening in Pakistan, I know that is the problem that you are solving, or what you are looking to respond to in the lives of women in Pakistan is really significant, and we need to understand why it is so important to care for women in Pakistan right now. So give us a little backdrop and kind of put your teacher hat on and tell us what's going on in the lives of women.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe you could talk about Gumsing, or where you went the first time. We started a school. We went from the after school program to starting a full school, but we just started with pre-K or preschool and pre-K. So we had about 45 students maybe to start with. But now that school, which is for boys and girls, goes from preschool up to 10th grade and has over 1,000 students in it. So it has grown like crazy.
Wow.
And yes, and has a very good reputation in the community. But then we started schools in some remote villages. We saw the need, and many village leaders told us that education was the main thing they needed, and would we help them. So the first place you went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these communities are very remote. They're they're a neglected tribal group.
Very fundamental.
Very fundamental in their faith. Very marginalized. In fact, they actually believe that educating girls is a sin. When we first entered into these villages, again, by the grace of God, He opened up a door into this community, and we were able to meet with the village elders and start school education for boys, hiring local teachers, bringing in school furniture, all that, equipping a whole village in order to educate kids that weren't going to school.
Yep.
Just boys, yeah.
Boys.
And it took about a year, but the village elders came back to us and they said, and a lot of prayer in between, by the way. They came back to us and they said, how can we be prosperous like our neighbors? And we said, well, if you want to be prosperous like your neighbors, you need to educate your girls. Your women need to be educated.
Wow.
And they said, okay. And so that opened up a whole door to start educating girls. But to back off from that just a little bit, so that just shows you we recognized pretty early on, just after we started the school, we recognized pretty early on that women were the oppressed majority, in northern Pakistan, because in their faith they don't have the same rights as men. They're, it's just viewed that way. And so in court, in all aspects of life, they don't have the same rights. So the pastor of the church approached us. We were working together, and he said, I really think that we need to offer a program to empower women. And we said, okay, yeah, that sounds great. What do what's your ideas? Well, I think we ought to start a sewing and training center to teach women how to sew, knit, and embroider. But more importantly, in this program, we need to teach women what their value is, that they are equal in value to men in this society.
Yeah.
And we need to raise up their dignity by providing them a skill that they can use to bring in some additional income, sew for their family, to raise up their dignity. And this program needs to be not just, it needs to be run by women for women, so that it's a place where women can come from every single religious sect, and we work among several in northern Pakistan, can come into a neutral environment and enjoy fellowship and learn a skill and laugh and just be women, and that's how our women's empowerment program started, with this revelation or understanding that women don't have the same rights as men in northern Pakistan. And since that time, we've launched many sewing centers. We've launched adult literacy centers to teach women how to read and write. We have many stories from that. Anyway, God has just done an incredible thing.
And we've been to many graduations. When they finish their program, they have a big celebration. They love those. And
how proud they are just to be able to read the back of a medicine bottle, so they know how much medicine to give their kids, or they can read a street sign, so they know where to go, or they can sign their husband's name. I mean, these are things we don't think about in the West, but they're huge. They make major changes in the lives of people. So
well, that's a perfect segue. Let's talk for a minute about our two organizations' collaboration here in the months of July and August. Seeds of Exchange is just so overjoyed to be able to support the work of Shining Light International and the launch of a brand new sewing center and program that's launching in September. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
we hope.
We hope.
Yeah.
That's why we need the funds. Thank you.
Yes, right.
So what I want to do is, because the world is full of so many needs, right?
Right.
Yeah, of
So
course.
what I want to do is just kind of paint a picture for those that are wanting to learn about this and decide if this is something that those that are listening, are able to give to. But I do want to say, one of the things that I love about all of our fundraising partnerships through Seeds of Exchange is that we raise funds all year round for friends of ours, for people we trust, for people we really believe in, and we are giving 100% of the funds that are donated to this fundraiser go to Shining Light International and will fund the work of Shining Light, this brand new sewing center and program. And so here's what I know. It's for 25 women. It is for 9 months. So this, what our goal is $10,000, which is a lot, but it's also not. If everyone gives what they can, and if you share this with people in your life so that we can spread the word. Some people can give 10, some people can give 1,000 or 2,000, but together it's plenty. Okay. So please just give, pray, ponder, and consider to get what you can give, and give what you can, and don't be deterred by thinking it's too little, because if a bunch of people give a little bit, it becomes
right.
Okay.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about what excites you and what difference this program will make in the lives of these 25 women in Pakistan.
Wow. I think hearing some of their stories after they've been through the program, and knowing, just the confidence they have and how proud they are of what they've been able to accomplish, that they never thought they would be able to do this. And at graduation, some of them even are bold enough to give a speech about how the program has helped them, and just the excitement they have, I think, and the hope, that they were able to accomplish this. And I think they feel more valued, and that they can do something. And for some of them, they are able to sew and bring in some income outside for their family, and that's so rewarding. Several of the women have told me that they love not having to go to their husband to ask for pocket money for their children, that they can make enough just sewing, to give some change to their kids, and that's really important to them. I don't know, I guess it's just giving them that hope that they can do something, they can dream, they can accomplish things.
And I love that it's this 9-month period of time where, yes, they're learning something very, very tangible that's going to make a difference in the lives of themselves and their family, but they're also not alone in it. They have 25 people with a trainer. And the other two things that I think are so special about this program that you've put together is, and speaking of graduations, is at the end of this program, they get their own sewing machine. I mean, they get to leave with the sewing machine. So they're leaving with a tool, with the ability to know how to use this tool to move into the next chapter of their life. And then the other thing I love is a soul sister of mine, Sarah Ray, founder of NEMA Development, is it the last 2 weeks of the program? She will come and do a 2-week, I have been a part of her training. Very holistic, sweeping program with entrepreneurship, with household budget management, with also, though, I know Sarah, and I know that part of what fuels her to do this work is really looking to remind anyone she meets, but these 25 women, of their value, just how important, how vital it is that they are alive today on this planet, and planting those seeds of hope, as you said, Robin, the hope that feels good to all of us, to know that we are have dignity, we have worth, we are loved, we belong to each other, we're not in this alone, and
we're seen.
We're seen. Yes. So I
I
love that. So did we leave anything out on this
I was just going to say, usually the reason why it's a 9-month training is it's so cold in the winter that everything closes in the winter. It's too expensive to heat, and everybody just stays in their home all winter, and it's very cold and dark and lonely.
No electricity.
And so one of the training programs in another village, the women all loved being together so much that they just sewed together all through the winter. I don't know what they did about heat and stuff, but they got way ahead on the skills that they needed to get their certificate for, that they just started sewing other things like pillows and hats and other things, and they were so proud. They just loved being together, that they didn't want to be apart for the winter. So I think that
was going to be my next question, was to share a story. So thank you for that. That's amazing. How about you, Mike? What's one of your favorite stories from, because as you can hear, this is the launch of a new training center and program in this particular village in Pakistan, but you have been doing this work for a long time. So what's another story that you love from these women's empowerment training programs? That's one of your favorite of the many.
Well, this particular village that we're working in, the reason why we're there is because of disaster relief. This is one of the villages that 34 homes, there was over 30 homes got wiped out in this village, land, everything. And so we've been doing food distribution and shelters, and now we're building like 10 new homes in this particular village. And it's very remote. It's And so the last time we were there,
The needs are great.
the needs are great. So we've been there twice now. The last time was just this last May, I guess about a month ago. Anyway, we were there, and we're talking about this new sewing center, starting that in September. And as we're meeting with the people, they, we're seeing some of the homes that have already been built, and they're located up on, up above the village in a place where there's no water. And so they say, really, our biggest need for this village is for water. And so we're saying, okay, so it's introducing a whole new idea. And then the second thing they said is that our second biggest need is a female healthcare worker in order to help the women during times of labor, because it's an hour or more to a hospital. And so what I think struck me by all that is I feel that God is opening doors for us, shining light, to move into other areas of service, like healthcare and water projects, and of course, empowering women. And so the empowering the women, we've been doing this we've done it in many villages now, and we found actually this is probably our best entry into a new community is through our women's sewing center, because it's so relational, it's so easy to start up, and the impact is so huge. And then the next is adult literacy center. And so as we're going into these communities, we're building trust and relationship. They're inviting us to do more and more, because you have to remember, these are communities that have been neglected by the government, by other, they're just out there, the conditions are very severe. And yet when we come and do something, that tells them it brings hope and encouragement. And so all I can say is God's opening up this huge door, and we're excited to step through it.
We feel like the sewing is just the beginning of it, and that will just open up more and more.
Right. And in that, again, this last trip, while we were there, while we were planning out where we're going to put the sewing center, how many women, we had the list of the 25 women that was established. 60 women were pressing in, trying to, with their 100 rupees, that's 30 cents, and their ID cards to get on a list so that
they can be in a sewing farm,
so that we can do that.
I
mean,
the need is real.
The need is real. It's huge. And again, I'm sure we will be taking care of them in the future.
And be doing more and more there. I mean, what started as disaster relief has turned into this great opportunity.
Long-term sustainable development that we plan to do. And that's
it wasn't
one of several villages.
And it wasn't anything we ever saw or
dreamed or imagined.
We didn't even know about this village. So
okay, so that's the other thing I want to close with. For those of you that are, as I asked you to, leaning in and looking for connections from Robin and Mike's life into your own story. I mean, what you both just said, this is beyond what you envisioned when you went in 2002 with your two teenage boys who are now young men, men. And just the ways it can be overwhelming. It can be exciting when things get so much bigger than we ever expected in our wildest dreams. And that's the fair warning part of this. I mean, I know it's not easy. So for those of you that are looking to live a life as are Robin and Mike, that is an adventure. What's your family slogan? The great adventure?
The great adventure.
This is the great adventure.
So may each of us lean in and look for our next steps and our unique, one-of-a-kind, great adventures. Our invitation, Robin, Mike, and I would love, I'm in the write-up below, you'll see lots of links to a beautiful, beautiful video about one of the women. Is it Annalie? Am I saying her name right?
Anila.
her story of really personal transformation, empowerment, hope, love, joy, all the good stuff that we're all looking for, and the ways that she has been personally so impacted by the work of Shining Light. I was riveted by it. So make sure you watch that. And then there'll be all kinds of links to social media and our fundraiser, and just keep what my invitation is. Please just go down, consider this part of your adventure. Go down and learn more about Shining Light, about the work they're doing, about our sisters and brothers in Pakistan. And just ask yourself how you might be a part of caring and loving and just doing what feels good, which is caring for one another and being a part of something bigger than ourselves. And again, I want to say thank you so much for sharing so freely and deeply about your faith, because that's my last nudge for people, is just to dig deep into whatever your faith tradition is. And you know, I think it's humbling to realize that we're a part of something bigger than what we can do on a human level, but also really good news to know that I do believe, I fully agree with you, that we have one that is with us to fuel this great adventure, this bigger than us adventure. So y'all, thank you for sharing this glimpse of your story and inviting us into our own great adventures. And this is going to be a fun 2 months together.
Thank you.
And don't if anyone wants to come with us sometime, hey, we're open, we're taking people all the time.
There you go, people.
So
that's a beautiful invitation. I would love to be on that short list someday.
Yes.
Okay, y'all, thank you for joining for the Seeds Storyteller Series. Robin and Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And look forward to this. This is gonna be fun. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Great adventure. You bet.
Have a good weekend.
See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.